It always snows at Foxcroft. A Very Fatal Christmas by Celia Kay. Part 7. Peonies at Christmas. For a moment, all the breath left my body. Someone wants to see me hang, I repeated. The very idea was bizarre. I had no enemies, surely. Guy Elverton knelt beside the armchair and took hold of my hand, his skin hot against mine. Think, he demanded. There must be something you read in your aunt's diary that gives us a clue. I thought back to the neat handwriting in her journal. No names, few dates, just meaningless suggestions. But it's been years, I said. Why would someone want to kill me now? And never mind Minerva and Ambrose. And anyway, the police and the ministry have already seen the diaries. It doesn't make sense. And even if I were hanged, my aunt would still be alive. Guy dropped my hand and began to pace the room, the glow from the fire casting nebulous, vague shadows in the darkness as he walked. That's true. Then it must be something here, something at Foxcroft, together with the diary and the missing photographs, that's worth killing for. But I'd never even met any of you before I came here, before you invited me. He stopped pacing at that and met my eye. We've forgotten, haven't we? He said slowly. We've forgotten that I didn't invite everyone. Vernier, I whispered, and instinctively looked over my shoulder towards the door. Stay here, he said. I'll lock you in. Stay here and have him kill you and blame it on me, or kill me for that matter. You'll forgive me if I don't agree. I'm coming with you. He looked like he might argue, but then slowly nodded. I wasn't sure whether I was pleased or not. Very well, but stay behind me. We must go to my room first. I need to fetch something. Foxcroft Hall was eerily quiet. The only sound, our footsteps echoing against the oak panels as we ran to Guy's room. A building as old as Foxcroft must have witnessed many deaths over the centuries, perhaps even a murder. But 2, in one night. Was this a first for Foxcroft? There must surely have never been a Christmas day like it. I nudged my mind away from the 2 bodies that were already beginning to fester, and the drugged housekeeper who slept on, oblivious. Ladies first, he said, opening his bedroom door. And have you lock me in, I said, and I pushed him ahead of me. Guy Elverton's room was almost identical to mine, shabby and slightly down at heel. A typewriter and a pile of paper filled the top of the small dressing table. I know Gifford was my aunt's superior officer, but if he was involved in anything untoward, he certainly wasn't well paid for it. Foxcroft Hall doesn't seem to have had a lot spent on it, I said. And one shouldn't speak ill of the dead, but he didn't strike me as clever enough to have got away with anything for 10 years. I'd say it was more a case of turning a blind eye, though whether intentionally or through incompetence, I can't say. Minerva Audley was obviously killed because of her little stunt with the playing cards. Scrawling "I know" on them clearly led her killer to believe she really did know something. But why frame you? He pulled a face. Expediency, perhaps. I suppose it would increase the belief that my aunt is guilty, I said. Perhaps What's the matter? Guy had bent down and was poking at the rug by the door. Yes, I thought so. He pulled a piece of paper from under the fringe at the edge of the rug. I was about to remark that it was an odd hiding place when I realised what must have happened. Someone had slipped it under the door and pushed it too far. He stared at the small slip of paper for a moment, then gave a low whistle and turned it round to show me. It was a photograph. He held it beneath the lamp, and I rushed across, expecting to see Vernier in some compromising situation. But it wasn't Vernier. It was just another picture of Foxcroft during the summer of 1944. A dozen or so people sat on the lawn, chatting or reading. Now, why would someone go to the trouble of slipping this beneath my door? He mused. And more to the point, who? It must have been Ambrose, I said. We know he was looking at the album just before he died. He must have taken this photo, popped it under your door, and then been killed as he was replacing the album on the shelf. All right, let's say it was him. Why this photograph in particular? There's nothing here that isn't in a dozen similar photos. Oh, there must be something, I cried in exasperation. I thought it would be Vernier. We still don't know who he is or what he's doing here. The photograph was such a small thing, and yet someone had thought it was important enough to kill for, and twice in a few hours. Clearly, that someone was desperate. Guy turned the photo over beneath the lamp. There's nothing written on the back, so it must be the picture itself. There's a notebook on my bedside table. Fetch it for me, will you? There should be a magnifying glass in my case. I glanced at the clock above the fire. 4:20. It had been the longest night of my life, and the sun would not rise for a further 4 hours. The night would be longer, though, for Minerva Audley and Ambrose Gifford. Guy caught my eye. See what the snow's doing. If it's still coming down, the killer won't be going anywhere in a hurry. We've a few hours to solve this yet. I twitched the curtain aside, and a draught of frozen air assaulted me. Outside, nothing stirred. Not a star twinkled, nor a woodland creature scurried. Fat white flakes fell silently onto the bare white canvas that hid the gardens. I'm not sure, I said, as I let the curtain fall back, that I shall ever enjoy Christmas Day again. Guy handed me the photo. Describe what you see, and I'll make notes. It'll be quicker that way. No, I said, there's no need. I've found it. Look. Perhaps the light had struck the photograph from a different angle, or my mind had been distracted by the snow. But now that I could see it, it was impossible to miss. Behind the people on the lawn, a woman leant against the corner of the building, her hands behind her back. Her dress was unmistakable. A beautiful, soft white, bepatterned with huge, riotous peonies, and a fulsome skirt. The same dress we had glimpsed in the other photos. But this time, we could see her face. She was gazing up at a man who leant over her, one arm stretched above her, his hand resting on the wall above her head. It was a very territorial pose, and they were either already on intimate terms, or were soon about to be. He was in shadow, and this time her face was clear. Just as I passed him the photograph, there was a knock on the door. Guy slipped the picture into his pocket. "Who is it?" he asked. "It is I, Monsieur Vernier,"